Hello, friends. Welcome back for Ethereum technical analysis. My name's Rocky Outcrop, and I swear to you, I do technical analysis on a daily basis. If you watch the Bitcoin video today, you'll get a sort of it's super long. It's got limited amounts of technical analysis in it. Actually, well, it's got technical analysis in it for sure. It does, but there's a discussion in there which I think will actually help sort of elevate you as with in terms of your approach to your mentality when it comes to trading, and just kind of introduce a couple of new ideas to you which might help bolster your confidence as you trade and give you a broader perspective on the way the world works and stuff like that. Also, it's me chatting for a while, and it's just a bit of fun, really. So anyway, we're looking at Ethereum together here, right? Is this the Ethereum chart? Yes, it is. We spoke about yesterday how you could have a sort of head and shoulders on the go. That's still a valid enough idea to have. Ultimately, we're between these two downward sloping trend lines. Maybe they should be a different color so that they're easier to see. Make that yellow. This upward one. Sorry, I said two downward ones, but you get the point. Make that some other yellow or whatever, that'll do. So we're in this section here. We're still waiting for things to pan out. You've got a measured move that could take you up towards the upside for upside targets of that could take you up towards 265, or it could indeed take you down to, say, for instance, 213. We've got various levels in around those different areas. Where's the Fibonacci retracement on here? Yeah, 217 is the 236 on this if you wanted to have a valid Fibonacci retracement towards the downside. Then you could be looking towards your next two targets of 295 and 177. A breakout from the area where this head and shoulders would take you down to, it would be a breaking out of a potential sort of descending triangle type formation, although it's a bit much to say that, I think, actually currently at the moment. And but you'd be breaking the structure in here. This could be a short term or a medium term reversal pattern. You'd be having to look for the crucial areas in around these 217s and actually the $200 sort of area really then thereafter, or $212, I suppose I should say, where the 200 simple moving average is coming in at. You might notice here, this is the 4 hour. That's where that is. Or the 200 simple on that one. But up here, the 50 simple moving average is up 207, 55, and around that area. Just kind of looking at the structure of this thing, like if we break down here, it could just easily be that we're sitting in a higher low, and that would be natural as part of the ebbs and flows of the market. Low here, high here, low here, high here, all that sort of stuff, and you're as part of the overall upward trend on the daily time frame. Or it could be that we go on further down. So you would have to look towards that 200 level where you could say maybe we've had our last low, or indeed the 185 area where it might be easier for you to say that we've had our last low, especially if we go up to a bigger time frame like the 2-day, for instance, and just see that that there was this high, this low, this high, this low. So that's your 200 one, or this high, this low, this high, and was this just on the way, in which case 185 and stuff like that. Now, that's me talking about the downside targets quite a bit, but obviously towards the upside, you've got this symmetrical triangle like we're saying here. You could break out of it coming up here towards the 270 area, and we're looking towards these areas on the left as to whether or not we can actually come up here and support in those areas. If you look at the bigger time frame, sort of, let's just go up to the weekly, you can see the downward sloping trend line here from just going down that way. This is obviously just kind of haphazardly drawn in. I think that's probably fairly bad there. Let's just use the bodies instead for this one rather than the wicks, and point out then that, of course, if you get this measured move like we're looking at here, you'd be coming up above the weekly time frame. And the questions at that point would be, are we breaking a weekly time frame? Well, if you were to be breaking it, you'd want to see the actual previous weekly high to be broken at the same time, would you not? Because anything else up until this point, up until this that point there, so we'd just be kind of fake out territory from a breakout from this in this zone as we're looking to the previous weekly high, and to turn around this overall largely downward weekly trend that there has been, involving a high here, a low here, a high here, a lower low here. This is a lower high. And then up until that point where you'd be still saying, well, that's a lower high, is it not? And then you could, that sort of a thing. In which case, the frightful situation of going back down towards that $100 could happen if you're looking for your next lower low. And should you have a big break in the traditional markets down towards the downside, a second wave of coronavirus, and you're looking down here towards this time here in around about October, November, and everybody's saying that the markets in the world are completely screwed, everybody's dying again, it's awful, we're all screwed, we're all screwed, we're all screwed, then you'd know from now all the way here in summertime that this was obviously always a potential with the structure here that we have on the go, unless we actually manage to go up here and break above this area and go up towards the $300 and manage to maintain that there for more than just a couple of days. There's various different factors to be had if you're looking at go down to the 12-hour time frame, for instance, get rid of all the junk on the chart so that we can kind of drag this out a wee bit here. So it's a bit bigger. Sorry, that's too big. And put this on the screen and look towards how there was a high here and then a higher high here. And this was bearishly divergent, across the board, really. And then since then, we've been consolidating in this area. In terms of the smaller time frames, just the small ones, you can look again at this as the symmetrical triangle thing. And, we're really we're all on the way into that at the minute. If you were to say that the whole thing, just measuring it from here, and you were to say the whole thing was 21 bars, and you find us at 10 bars in, we're like 50% of the way into that. So, looking towards the 8th of June, for instance, or whatever, for a breakout of this thing, that could be possible in around that time, in the next couple of days, where you could get some sort of action here for this one. But on the way before we do any of that, there's a few horizontal levels that we can look to quite easily, and they come in at 254, 255, and then towards the downside 230 and 220. 220. What will I call today's episode? I'll call it symmetrical triangle. We'll call it breakout within 48 hours, right? Okay, there's your clickbait style title for us. There's an explanation as to why I did it. I'm going to keep today's video for Ethereum very brief and end it up now, because that's all we need to look at for the time being, and it somewhat mitigates the 57 minute long Bitcoin video that I put out today, which is very discursive and chatty. And yeah, that's essentially all we need to look at until we know where we're going. We don't know where we're going. Looking up to the previous high here on this at 251 would be your first identifier, and obviously your first area of resistance, again, big time, and 231 towards the downside. And then of course there's the head and shoulders idea itself here. Looking at this yellow line has been more or less for our confirmation line for that. Breaking down below 235 would be bad. And then of course in terms of undoing this as a potential at all, then you've got the 250 area, and if we have that with volume especially, well then that's absolutely negated that pattern, and we can move on with our lives. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode. I've been Rocky Outcrop. Hit that subscribe button. I would massively appreciate it. Hit the like button. Let's see if I can get a magic 20 likes on this video, or 30 likes, something like that. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would put this directly into one of the top videos that I've ever put out. Can you believe it? And I put in this effort every single day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be back again tomorrow. So hit that subscribe button if you like this sort of content and you want some more of it. Thank you. I'll catch you next time.